All right, let's see how we're doing here. Okay. I think we're ready to go. So what we have today, get things turned the right direction here. This is an introductory adventure for my new campaign setting. And what I want to do is just kind of I have a kind of a framework and goals in my head as to what I want to do with this, but today we're going to get it down a little more in final form and try to show you a little bit of the process that I go through on as far as making an adventure and what I like to do in that. This is right now titled A Tale of Two Farms, and the background is that there are two families who own farms outside of a town. Their eldest children are in love with each other, but neither family is happy about that fact. Pretty standard trope and story. The teens sneak away with each other for short periods and are frustrated with their parents. Several weeks ago, Walter discovered a hidden cave in the hills beyond their property and slowly began exploring. He kept it a secret from Ginny, hoping to find a bit of treasure to surprise her with so they could fulfill their dream of running away and starting a new life together. 3 days ago, he discovered an ancient vault filled with long decayed furniture and items, but one book had stood the test of time. Walter opened it and leafed through the pages, finding one which held a few slightly familiar words he could sound out. The book glowed for an instant, and the words on the page disappeared. Walter dropped the book in fear and ran home, but the magic he had inadvertently cast took hold, though in a warped manner from the original spell, which was conjure animals. The Fey spirits he summoned took on misshapen bestial forms, and taking cues from his displeasure of his parents and his desire for Ginny herself, began making mischief on the two farms. So that's kind of the background that's going on and the problem that the characters will have to try to solve. Once we get started on the actual adventure, the way I'm starting this is separately. The idea here is that the characters don't know each other to begin with. This is an absolutely introductory adventure, but we will put notes in there saying that you don't have to start this way, but I thought this was a fun way to do character introduction. So they begin by standing individually in front of a job board. Having arrived late, only 2 jobs are left, and both of them sound like they're too much for one person to tackle. Looking around, they see a handful of others seemingly in the same position. Perhaps they could team up. And then we'll have the players describe themselves and also mention what the reason is for them being late to taking on or taking a look at the job board. So the 2 jobs, one is offered by each of the 2 families. So one of them is investigate noises in barn and some misting livestock. And the other job is to help deploy nets to protect their crops on the farm. And the idea is that this will give the players can choose either job, giving them some agency in kind of how the story goes. So we've got two divergent paths to start with, which then will kind of curve around and hopefully end up in a common resolution for the story. That's the idea, at least. So I've taken the notion that one of these farms is run by a couple named Bim and Cordy Nort, and the other one is run by Elias and Flora Dijna. The Nort's daughter and the Dijna's son are the ones who are together. And so we have Walt Dijna and also Nort, who the Nort family happens to grow berries. So this is Nort's berry farm. Again, just being silly and fun. People who might pick up on, they might not, and that's okay. So what I have is an idea for final confrontation once the characters discover that it is these strange creatures, fey spirits, whatever, that Walter accidentally conjured, that are the ones taking or are causing the mischief, and they the final confrontation would take place in the ruins that Walter discovered a few days ago. But in order to get there, we have some steps to take. The spirits during this time will have kidnapped Ginny and taken her to that room in the ruins. So we have two jobs that we want to do. One of them is pretty straightforward. Again, investigate the noises in the barn and what might have happened to some livestock. That will be the taking the Dijna job, and the other one is deploying nets to protect crops. The world I'm creating has a lot of aerial threats, and so many deploy different types of netting and other things to protect from small nasty flying creatures that sometimes will engage in bad things. So depending on what the party decides, the deploying nets is obviously not going to be, at least on the surface, something that would directly involve combat. Might sound easy, that they could make easy money. The other one is obviously more likely to involve some confrontation. So what we want to do first is we're going to describe the two jobs. and how they go about accepting them and what happens after that. So let's see. And let's see. Well, let me do that. All right. Excuse me. So for one, Walter is the one that's sent to try to find somebody because the parents are doing what they can at the farm to try to find out what's going on, but they also realize that if something is attacking their livestock, they need some extra help. So again, Walter then for this one has been sent to hopefully find an adventuring party to come help, and he will lead them back to the farm. The other one is going to involve collecting some supplies first in order to kind of stagger the arrival times of these two different things. And so once the party, if they decide to take the investigation job, they will meet with Walter, the teen boy. He'll briefly explain he has been hearing strange noises from their barn and some of their ducks have gone missing. Okay. Okay. Then we have Well, let's see, that's a question. Do we want to have them in the same tavern? Yeah, I think it'd be better to do it this way. Okay, so Vim explains the need for netting their crops been poached the past four. Extra hands two. Quickly. Leaves with Bim. But first stops by the district to purchase the necessary materials. All right. So, at this point we have the Dijna Farm party doing that will leave town immediately to go investigate the barn. discover clues, probably fight one of the face spirits, and then discover some clues as to where they may have gone. Walter at that point realizes that would be in the direction of of the ruins that he had been exploring. And then the Nort family shows up claiming that Ginny has been kidnapped and blaming Walt for this. If the party decides to go to the Nort farm first, they will be spending some time gathering materials and then heading out. And then once they get to the farm, the mother runs out saying that Ginny is missing. And the characters then can going on, but the Norts decide that it must be the terrible boy Walter his fault that Ginny is gone, and so go to confront the Disnes. Greet Elias and Flora. Go last night. There. Missing. And barn and coop. clues. And discovering one of the beast spirits. Spirit. Toward the cave. Caves. Then once the included arrives that she is missing, blames Walter. Okay, and then in the Nord farm, there's unload supplies, if I can type, and begin to assemble the netting posts. Oh no, that's not what. Characters arrive to a panicked Laura Nort, who is missing. Can investigate Jimmy's room. Find clues that she was forcefully removed. Bim is sure that Walter is involved and Flora their way to the Disney farm nearby. Everyone arrives just as Beast has been narrowly defeated. Distressed. News of disappearance. Okay, then he confesses to his explorations. The strange creature we have result of his discovery. Nort insist on coming along to search for Ginny. All right, so we'll have some minor encounters. In the caves leading to room. tied up. And munching on berries in the Nort farm. So let's see. I have insert image. Oh, I remember where I put these things. Oh, I guess I didn't save those as JPEGs yet. I have maps of the two farms and the cave systems built, but I'll have to export those to images and get them in so that I can throw them in here. But the point is to be able to give a couple of different options again for the characters to choose, and there are minor consequences that happen, or at least things are going on with the other one while they choose the other one option or the other, and that makes for a little more interesting gameplay, in my opinion. In any case, what's left now is to I'll have to create the creatures themselves and get into basically just the nitty-gritty of what checks need to be made, what they can find from their investigations in either venue, and then again create the creatures that they will be going up against in both the farm encounters as well as the caves. Will have maybe a couple of spiders or something like that in one of the nooks and crannies of the cave, etc. Before then they it can do the final encounter. So that's kind of where I'm at here. And again, with adventures, one of the things I want to do is get the players role playing if possible early on, and that's where the talking about what made you late to the job board comes in, and or rolling some dice, even if it's just making a check here or there. With the one, if they take the Nort's job, they can go into the warehouse district with him and attempt to help negotiate better prices, and which will make Bim happy and hopefully maybe pay them more, that type of thing. But they can engage in that sort of dice rolling. The other job is going to be again some minor investigation and probably a combat with one of the summoned spirits, and then some negotiation possibly with two families and trying to get them to understand that they aren't the ones that should be against each other. There's some outside force going on. Head to the caves and resolve the story. Anyway, that's probably all we'll do for today, and hopefully that was interesting and instructive. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Possibly either get back into the maps or work on creating the monsters and fleshing out the rest of these encounters. Anyway, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.